welcome back. I'm Magnolia Heaton, licensed clinical social worker and founder of Love is Healing LLC. We specialize in the treatment of complex PTSD through shamanic healing and mental health services. And let's see, I'm not sure what I'm going to say today, but I feel guided to talk about comparing myself to other people. That's been coming up a lot. I wish I would have taken notes, but I didn't. Okay, so growing up, I compared myself to other people, mostly my family. I feel like inherently as a child I wouldn't have, but because they were so loud and opinionated, I did, right? And it wasn't necessarily that they were comparing themselves to me, even though sometimes they did, but it was mostly that they would say, comment over what was happening on the TV, comment on people's appearances, or like if we were watching a novela or something, comment on people's maybe intentions, behavior, stuff like that. I don't know. Can't really think of it on the level. It was mostly commenting on like the socioeconomic status or the appearance or something. Anyway. And I feel grateful that I saw through that as a kid, and I think what I want to say is to trust your intuition in this video. I feel that this thing has been coming up a lot lately with a lot of people of like maybe wanting to stoop one's energy levels, to stoop one's greatness, to mute one's greatness, to mute one's loudness, to mute one's needs, but to make oneself small in order to fit in with the mainstream. I know that it sounds nice on paper because maybe if you muted yourself, maybe people would like you more. Maybe you wouldn't feel like the outsider. I can promise you're still going to feel that way. And you're probably going to feel even more like an outsider because then you're not even being true to yourself or honoring your home within yourself. You're a foreigner outside and you're also a foreigner to yourself. By all means, try it if you want to. I can just tell you from personal experience that that hasn't worked out. But yeah, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I know that it's easy to say, oh, I want to be normal or average, rich. I don't know. Whenever people say that, I'm like, bro, have you looked at the stats? Have you looked at what the average weight is for a man or a woman? Have you looked at how more and more people are starting to have chronic illnesses, and a lot of people are in the throes of addiction, and most people I think have an alcoholism problem. Have you looked into that? Because if you haven't, that's what normal does, and that's what normal gets you. Right? Most people aren't in tune with themselves, and that's why they're so susceptible to peer pressure. And it's not necessarily that they like fads. This is my understanding. It's not necessarily that they like fads. It's more that they want to fit in. And because they perceive that everybody else is into this one thing, that's why they are interested in that one thing. So really, I feel like everybody walks around with this alienated sense of self. Because I feel like that's part of the human condition. There's a theory on addiction that says that addiction is a spiritual problem where like we're disconnected from God, and like the only thing that can fill that void is God. I read that in like the first couple pages of an addiction book. Addiction isn't a specialty per se. The trauma underlying it is. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling, but I feel like there's a message in it for y'all. I asked someone this week, like, who's the strongest person that you know in your personal life? And they said themselves. And I know most of the clients that I work with, and most of the people that I know in my personal life will point to themselves as being the strongest people that they know. And I'm like, I know, that's why I asked you, so but like, yeah, if you really look at it, probably if you're even watching this video, I'm guessing you want to learn more about yourself and your emotions and have a more coherent sense of self. And really, to me, that's what trauma work is bringing all the parts that are apart from each other and then bringing them into a more cohesive self. Because like what happens when trauma happens is we break off parts of ourselves. We break off from our emotions, or break off from our bodies, or break off from our thoughts, because we compartmentalize because it's overwhelming. So the more that we are able to like acknowledge them in a safe container, public therapy, things like that, then we're able to leave a whole sense of self. Anyway, I hope this video helped. I'm gonna play it back and see what I said. Alright, if you want more information, please check us out. LCSW-S.com. We're also on Instagram, LCSW-S, and Facebook, LCSW-S. And yeah, please like, share, subscribe if you found this valuable. Thank you. Until next time.